this video, I will be teaching you about adding integers. Let's get started. When adding integers, there are a few simple rules to follow. These rules will help you determine the sign of the sum. Addends are the two numbers you are adding together. If the two addends are positive, the sum will be positive. For example, positive 4 plus positive 6 equals positive 10. To explain how this works, I'll give you a real-life example. Let's say that you have $4, which represents the positive 4. Then you get $6 for your allowance, which represents the positive 6. Now you have $4 from already and $6 from allowance, which when you add them together will total $10 in total. When adding two negative integers together, the sum will always be negative. For example, negative 4 plus negative 6 equals negative 10. To help you understand how this works, take temperature for example. Say that in the morning begins with the temperature of negative 4 degrees Celsius, representing negative 4. Then the temperature increases by negative 6, representing negative 6. The final temperature will be negative 10 degrees Celsius. Basically, when adding two negative integers, the sum will always be negative. This is because when adding two negative integers, you're increasing the amount of negatives, which means that the sum will have to be a negative number. Now, so far, all of this sounds pretty simple, right? The next technique is going to get a little bit more difficult. When adding two numbers that have different signs, like positive 4 plus negative 7, there will be a little bit of a process to follow. First, you'll need to find the absolute value of both numbers. Positive 4 and negative 7 will turn into 4 and 7. Then you will subtract the number with the lowest absolute value, which is 4, from the number with the greatest absolute value, which is 7. Now the equation will look like this. 7 minus 4. And obviously that equals 3, right? Okay, so now all you have to do is find the proper sign for the sum. This is the easiest part. You always use the sign of the greater absolute value. So in this instance, 7 has a greater absolute value, so we will use the sign of the 7, which is negative, as you can see here. And in conclusion, the sum of negative 7 plus negative 4, positive 4 positive 4 plus negative 7 equals negative 3. Just to help you understand, I'm going to go through one more question. Let's use positive 5 plus negative 6. First, we find our absolute values, since the two numbers have the different signs, which are negative. First, we find our absolute values, since the two numbers have different signs. These are 5 and 6. Now we subtract the lower absolute value from the greater absolute value. So 6 minus 5. This is 1. Now, to determine the sign of the sum, we use the greater absolute values sign, which is negative 6. So the sum of positive 5 plus negative 6 equals negative 1. If you're wondering when you'll ever add integers in real life, then here are a few ideas. You add integers when playing golf. This is because you add your score each hole. If you get below par on a hole, you're adding a negative number, but if you score above par, you're adding a positive. Also, you add integers when you're hiking up a mountain. You need to understand how elevated you are on the mountain, and to understand how elevated you are, you will need to add positive numbers while walking higher towards the top of the mountain, and adding negative numbers while climbing down. So guys, I really hope this video helped you to understand how to add integers. If this video helped you, or you need a better understanding of another concept, please watch our other videos on the channel. See you in the next video. Bye.